We're going to react to the insane strength of the best player in the NFL. Comment down below if you disagree. Saquon Barkley, and we're going to start right now. Okay, so I am a little bit of a Saquon fan, mainly because he went to Penn State, my alma mater, but I want to look at a couple different plays that Saquon has put out as an Eagle just in this year, and then we're going to reflect on some of his lifts. And I think that the main reason why I want to do this is this morning we had a nice trainer meeting, we had this long discussion, and I went through the list. I'm going, why wouldn't people want to be a Saquon Barkley? And people are going to comment, yeah, typical American soccer. He's fast, he has good endurance, he's strong. I want to go through his speed, his vision, his ability to be patient, and then just how well he accelerates and how strong he is. I just want to go through this and just check out absolute insanity here. And like right when we're looking at this here, okay, we can see initially just how everything is sort of set up where he might actually be able to hit this hole here off of Mailata. We're looking here and seeing how everything's lining up. A little bit of sloppy. I think that's Goddard there, sloppy block there. But you can see here, he basically acknowledges immediately how quickly he has to turn upfield. He starts to get a little bit harder lean. He changes the shin angle, okay? And so now he's got to be thinking, he's not actually consciously aware of this, but he's so in tune and so dialed into his vision, connection to central command, which then communicates, and his reaction is just so rapid, and then his muscular actions take over, right? So we're looking at this. He's got think about this right here. He's got about 6 yards to hit this hole without these guys literally making, 2 steps here. So we go here, boom. And so at this point, no one has made put a single hand on him. And you can see here, he's still got that forward lean. And I want to go here. He's grounding. At this point, he's starting to pull his chest up. And this is something I think is phenomenal. Is like, if you think about the term dynamic trunk control, someone like Saquon is able to use their chest. And I've always felt like that trunk control, dynamic trunk control, is going to be very similar to the way a rudder works. So in the sense of a field sport, football, right? If you're running full speed or you're trying to accelerate, let's say you're trying to accelerate and you almost just force this forward lean at points, and you can do that by taking a false step as you're going to take a handoff as a running back. But then as you bring your chest up, you can almost start to squat, and what that does is it sets up your next move. You start to see the vision upfield, and you can see here he's popping his head, he's seeing vision here. What's the read? He's starting to get a little bit more squatty in this position to make that next decision. And then, oh my gosh, that's just absolutely insane. Watch how fast he makes this little quick, it goes left. Look at that step right here. So that place that we pause where he's vertical was literally to set up this step right here. He's looking, setting this up. He knows he has to plant and load the hell out of his quad. And where's he going to go? Because what do we have? Is this 11? And just that little stutter step enables him to get enough room here to hit back through this. And let's just look at that. We're looking at, again, this individual's here, 5 yards, 6 yards, and this dude doesn't cover any ground on him. So we're looking at, and even that back leg plays a massive role, because he keeps, if you go back to that, you can see how low he keeps that back leg. Look at that left foot. The feet are so low to the ground. And that's where I just consistently go back to this dude, as we're going to see in a couple of his lifts and a couple of his training videos. When he got picked up by the Eagles, seeing Jalen Hurts, where there's a bunch of videos of them squatting together. But let's just get into this a little more, because this is absolutely insane how quick he hits this. Okay, so now this isn't even his mega jump. He hits here, gets hit, is able to rotate, plant here from that right side, and then now all of a sudden he's a little bit more upright. He sees this guy. He's trying to get out of this dude's hands right here. Now he knows this guy's cutting off this angle. How can he plant and put this down, come from this inside position, set that up, get that outside? So we're looking at this and I'm going, okay, first, clearly he has genetic ability, right? I will say he really didn't pop off till his senior year of high school. Okay, so like freshman, sophomore year, good running back, but in the state of Pennsylvania, like pretty standard, solid running back. By no means was he an overachiever at all. But then his senior year is when he blew up. He still only really had 1 or 2 offers. Rutgers was his first major offer. That's where he was going to go. So that was the type of player he was early on. So genetically, is he gifted? 100%. But is he like the end all be all? Not really. If he was, we would have seen it when he was 14. Now look at that cut back in. And it's like, okay, so I want to go back here because I'm looking at this and he's at the 25, right? He's at the 25. Takes him. It's unbelievable how fast he is. And so you see those cuts and it's like, how are we not able to look at this and say, now before we get into his next key play, okay, I want to go in. We're going to look at a play from the snow game that they had this year with the Rams. But one thing I had read was that he even spent like once or twice a week, he was just trying to get in like 2 to 4 decent sprint, at a higher intensity, more so than he had done in the past. So I think that's something that a lot of kids can hear is when you're training in season, it might be a struggle to get into the gym, but then once you're in the gym and you can get through that workout, it does pay off. And that's one thing that we do inside of our strength training app, Peak Strength. If you're an athlete and you're looking to become more explosive, you want to get faster and you want to get stronger so that you can improve that agility, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store. Download that you want to train for a specific sport or a specific goal, and you can select that sport or that goal. Let's say agility in this case, or football, you're a running back, and you can get a specific program geared towards you specifically as a football running back based off of your level of experience. So you can download that today. Now let's get back to Saquon. Okay, so we're looking at this play here, and I think it was so interesting to watch, watching this game. My dad's a diehard Eagles fan. And just how well, again, if I want to point out how low his feet stay, it's almost like how D-backs are taught how to run. And that enables him to make good cuts. You can see the center mass here. One thing I noticed yesterday was if you see like the GOATA guys will like tell you to squat with your toes in. And if you actually watch Saquon walk and run, he doesn't do that. Sorry, guys. So maybe watch Saquon. Now, right here, he's at what, the 27? So he's at the 27. He sees 4's held up. 3's got a clear path. What does he do? He just full throttle. Right here, he starts to lean and just drive. And he hits that, and then now we know where he's going to cut to, and he's able to shed that blocker very quickly and just get a little bit lean. You can see here how he's planting. He had that initial plant from that left side, the next stride right here. You can see that high heel recovery actually. That's one thing I noticed with him too when I'm watching him run in slow motion, because I will screen record a lot of his runs and see. He brings that front foot up, and then that lead leg. So like in this case right here, this visual, you see his left foot right here. He'll bring that high, and then that enables him to either plan out here if he needs to cut, okay, or cycle through rapidly to try and get to max speed as fast as possible. So it's like he has these mechanisms in place that he's trained to enable him to improve those positions. And it's like, dude, it's absolutely insane. And it's just this run was awesome because he's just like, I just locked down the whole game. I think that's when you're watching him actually in person, it's unbelievable. I want to watch this from the back now, because what we'll see here is I wanted to set up to watch how he sets us up. See, this is one leg. This is his other leg here. He's got a nice wide stance, and now takes a handoff, and he sees here this dude's on this dude's here. So he's got 2 lanes, but each lane has a defender. Tight end's getting upfield, so this guy's going to crash down here, so he's probably going to choose that left side, right? See this tight end come across, so he's going to pick him up. And now look at how deep he squats here. That's where he gets that position there with that right leg. This is his foot here. Look at how low that left knee is. I'm going to come back here and just walk that a little bit slower, because right here, he's going to plant this right foot out, okay? So, again, he's got crazy mobility. Now he's able to shift, but one other thing is with this trunk control, he stays square, he lowers his hip level, and he stays square that entire time. And that then helps him, and this is where he turns, and again, it's like the rudder. He gets that little lean out of this cut. So I want to go back here. He gets this lean here. Now, from this moment, his right's about to plant. He'll open very quickly and then close. So he opens here, and then now he's already starting to close to head back upfield because he has that vision. And so this is where we see the acceleration, and that's the whole thing. Acceleration wins. In sports, if you accelerate faster, you win. Your top speed really doesn't matter that much in a sport like football, even a sport like rugby. If you can accelerate quicker, though. So if I run, let's say, in 100, if I run a 10-second and the other guy runs a 9.9, he's going to dust me in the 100. But if I accelerate to 30 faster than him, in a game like football, a game like rugby, that's really what matters more so. And there's going to be a bit more strength involved with that. So let's watch here, right here. Okay, he's sort of sneaking through there, gets a little shimmy, and now you've got this vision here. This is what we were looking at earlier. He's going to get hit by this guy right here, and is able to just shed that off right there. Boom. And this is what I was talking about with the foot placement. So these go-to guys will say like, oh, you want your toes in. You want your toes in the whole time, right? And you shouldn't be squatting with your toes out. Notice how he's running here. Dude, it's all going to be based off your mechanics as a human being, not off of toes in for everyone. And then he just takes it to the house. And you can see even here as he's running in a straight line, what is his left foot doing? Right there. Let's watch. This is a great angle. Good vision. Crosses over, keeps the feet low, plants and cuts and goes. And that's the other thing. It seems like with him, it's like he's always got 2 moves that he hits, and he's almost got 2 moves built in that he's like, all right, I'm going to hit these 2 and then freaking take off. Now, I believe this is what I was calling his mega jump. And I think that this is like, again, we're going to hear the everybody chirping in the comment section that a classic American would do this, but this is literally, in my opinion, way better than the super jump. Saquon Barkley's mega jump is, you're looking at pads, defenders who are about to hit you. You just caught a ball. You've got to read where they're coming from. It's unbelievably difficult. So he takes this. He's looking upfield. And if you remember, we talked about on that first play how he almost brings up his chest when he wants to decelerate and make a move. So now he's setting himself up. He like brings his chest up and squats. You can see right here, okay? And the cool part when you watch a guy like this is like you could practice these drills. Like you could literally set things up like playing around with that chest movement. So he goes in, lowers the boom on that guy, and then right here, this is insane. Look at this position. And then he's here, low feet, plants there. So what does he think? I'm going to spin on this dude. And then I'm going to do this while these 4 guys are coming at me. I want to go back because he's like, he sees this here and he knows that if this guy is moving this way and he has his forward lean, but then he throws the brakes on, because you can see another cool factor is that when your front foot, and this is one thing to keep in mind for speed, is that when your front foot is landing in front of your trunk, you're putting brakes on. So that's one thing that if you want to get to top speed, you want to keep that front foot under the hip. in the case of deceleration, you want that front foot out there. So you can see here, he puts that out there, and that enables him to lower his hip. That's what I want to show right here, is that if we get to the point of where he goes to take off from, like right here. Okay, so let's go back like one more. Right here. He takes off, brings his knees to his chest, still gets hit, and then gets another 3 yards. And when you look at it, it's like he literally just fought for 3 yards by doing a front foot super out in front, decelerate, lower the hips, jump backwards. Dude goes underneath him, then he lands and he just accelerates as far forward as he can so he can get another 3 yards. And I think that those are obviously things that you're not able to teach, but you can train things. I'm not going to hit these moves, but you can improve someone's ability and their physical capability. If their physical capability gets raised to this height, to this level, now when they have that confidence, they're more willing to take on something outrageous like this. And this is where I'm talking about. His left foot plants, and then his right goes really far out in front, right there. Okay, so he goes right here, boom. Let's go back. Gives a little spin, raises up, turns, gets his head up field, and keeps going for an extra 3.5 yards. And this is the other thing, is like looking here, I want to see. Right there, plants up. Look how high he is. Cisco's like, what am I looking at? And then he lands, gets hit, and goes. Okay, so we've seen that. Now let's look at some of the key aspects here, because when you're looking at the combine results, he ran a 4.4 at the combine, so clearly has speed. I don't really know. 41-inch vert. Oh, that's interesting, because he has a very short, quick dip. If you notice that. Right here, quick dip. He's almost forward on it a little bit too. A little too much. Dude, 41, 42, and Chubb's right there like, yep, we're just hosses here. Take this for an example. You got Nick Chubb, you got Saquon Barkley. Both can clean over 400 pounds. They've both back squatted 550, 600 pounds. They both run 4.4 40s. They're both extremely agile. 29 reps at 225. Just able to freaking grind, dude. 29 total reps. He's absolutely insane. I don't know if I should bench. It might slow me down for being a running back. He did 29 reps at 225. No, I'm not saying that sprinters need to bench, but it's one of those things. It's like, yo, it's part of the sport. You know, it's something that we need to factor in. Now we're going to get into one of his back squat workouts. Okay. So here we're looking at, what is this, 600? Look at that speed off the box. It's like, dude. So he's getting down. That's almost the exact angle of his mega jump. Now, I wouldn't claim that you have to do joint angle specific work, but I'm just saying, like, that's a freaking awesome back squat. It's like getting to the point where you can hit that for freaking reps is phenomenal. Now, you know what's ironic is I was actually thinking when he does his mega jump, like, he's got to have that hip and ab mobility and strength. And this is literally almost that position he was in when he hit that. He's doing banded dumbbell incline. Let me just put in a little plug. Do you want to know what's inside of peak strength as an accessory? Banded dumbbell incline bench. For reps he's hitting this, it makes it a little bit tighter up at the top. So remember, he's training his upper body and he's training his legs to be extremely strong and then extremely explosive, and then he does his sprint work. That's something that we do inside peak strength. A lot of you guys struggle to set up that programming as effectively as possible, and that's one thing that we do for you. Okay, let's look back. Unbelievable. Freaking just ripping that. Okay, so then we're watching. I know Jalen Hurts and Barkley had discussion about squatting, who could squat more. I think back in college, Hurts might have hit like 585. And Saquon Barkley had back squatted 495 for 7. 495 pounds for 7 reps. But you can see here, okay, so Barkley's down there, okay, right around 90 degrees. And I will say Chubb squats like a hair lower. Now, Chubb also had a bad knee injury, not related to squatting. Seeing these guys do this, it literally lays out the blueprint for us leg day with Saquon. What's he do? Hammer in that single leg squat. And the thing here that I like to think about with the single leg squat is that we know if that single leg squat, if we have that trunk changing and we're leaning forward, that's going to help with acceleration, and it's going to help with deceleration because now we're using that trunk to change direction. And if we're hitting that in a single leg position, now we're strengthening the knee, we're strengthening the quad. Maybe if we move it a little bit further forward, we're strengthening more of the posterior chain. That's what we're doing with our single leg squat. And then he goes right into these jumps with a little pause. Absolutely fantastic. This is actually where I like that little bit of like holding hip flexion is really, really good. This is good for the knees here, just to load up the quads, getting a little pump on the leg press, explosive, and then he's hitting freaking Nordics. Oh, but Nordics aren't that good. You shouldn't do them you shouldn't do Nordics. They aren't that good. That's what some of these guys will say. Like some of these dudes who don't train high school athletes. I think that's the other thing is like when we're looking at somebody who is like a very normal kid. Okay, this is like before we get into back squat and we go in and look at his cleans from college. We have to think about, as strength coaches, how are we going to take a kid who's an above average kid and make him a freak? Okay, above average freak. Or how do we take an average kid and make him above average? Or how do we take an average kid and make him advanced? So when you guys are out there and you don't coach anyone, and you're saying you shouldn't do Nordics, it's overrated for hamstring strength and it won't help you get faster, you're absolutely clueless of what it means when you're in the trenches and you're training kids who are average kids. You have to do things like that. You have to do pause back squats. You have to do full range of motion. You have to do power cleans, full cleans. You have to do a lot of jumps. You have to do Nordics so that they're stable in that joint. And if you don't train normal kids, or you don't actually coach anyone at all, and you make these claims that are baseless, it's all coming back to the fact that you don't actually test and experiment. You don't assess athletes on a regular basis and then write their program and see progress because you're just an internet coach. Like that's the whole thing here. So let's watch Saquon hit freaking full range of motion depths or full squats. I'm coming in. That's freaking deep, dude. So this is 495. Up. He's not even wearing a belt either. That's what's crazy. One more. So he gets 495 for 7 reps. Up. 495 for 7 reps. So he cleaned 405 and he did 380 for a triple. What? Well, that's 315. God, look at that turnover. At the end of the day, this all comes back to you're going to have to do sprints to get faster. You're going to have to, if you play football and you want to be fast, explosive, strong when you're making contact, like you have opposing forces, you got to slam on the brakes. You got to be able to jump. You got to do all these things. Cleaning, jumping, squatting heavy, benching. Those things are all going to carry over to different positions that you're in. I would still make the claim, why aren't we doing this if we're training rugby players? Why aren't we doing this with lacrosse? Imagine this dude playing lacrosse. If he had skill, if you have the same person, the same physical makeup with skill, they're total freaks. That's my pitch for today. This is unbelievable. It's fun watching the strongest and best player in the NFL, Saquon Barkley, train. If you guys need help with your programming, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. If you want more content, check out this video, because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.